Back again, and this time is Fantasy's focus for Game Week 33. In this video, we break down the players most likely to deliver in front of goal, transfers worth considering, clean sheet prospects, and of course, the captaincy pick. Let's get into it. Alright, first we're going to start off with goal involvement potential, and at the top of the list this week, it's Haaland. He's coming in at 90% expected return rate due to his double game week. But he is coming off 3 90-minute blanks, and in those 3 he's played Forest, Spurs and Chelsea, all sides that are struggling, and he's still not returned. Despite this, his predicted points for the next 5 is still 44.3, but given his form it does seem unlikely that he's going to reach that. Still, for me, he's pretty much the only captaincy option this game week. Let me know in the comments below if you think differently. Next up is João Pedro, and he's got a 76% chance of returning. Similar story for him though, 3 blanks in a row since his 19-point haul versus Villa. Does have a double game week against Brighton and Man United, making him an easy choice for the upfront spots. As you can see from this list, it's pretty much dominated by double game week players, the majority of them being City players. Out of all the City players on the list, if you're wildcarding, free hitting or just transferring in players, for me, the top 3, as I've mentioned in my transfer targets video, has to be Haaland, Semenyo and Cherki. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has a really good home fixture versus Wolves before he goes to Bournemouth away, and I was really surprised to see he averages almost 1 big chance per game, and given the fact he's on penalties and has the double as I've mentioned, he's going to be a definite selection in my free hit team. Alright, let's move on to transfers in. And no surprises really, for Game Week 33 we've got a lot of transfers in for players that are doubling up. A lot of City players, Haaland, Cherki and O'Reilly have been transferred in by over 100,000 managers. Senesi, of course, he's got Newcastle away and Leeds at home, so some decent fixtures to target. He's definitely worth considering because he's always getting defensive contributions. Mark Guéhi, I probably wouldn't select him unless O'Reilly was injured. If you want to go safe and choose another defender from the City defence, then yeah, it's Guéhi that you choose. Otherwise, if you wanted to be a little bit more risky, I would probably choose Núñez, as he has the more attacking threat down that right wing, putting in a lot of crosses. He can pick up assists, get you clean sheets as well, which could see you hit double digits with that player. We spoke about O'Reilly in my transfer targets video. He's been transferred in by over 107,000 managers despite potentially being injured this game week. Although he has been seen in training picks with what looks to be some light load training, doing some stretching, but does that mean he's going to be fit and available on Saturday? And then we've got Alex Scott. Now this one for me is someone I'm definitely looking at for my free hit. Whilst a lot of managers are looking at Tavernier due to set pieces and potential penalty duties if Krupi Jr. isn't on the pitch, Alex Scott has an expected defensive contribution of 0.96 per 90, so he's pretty much hitting defensive contributions every game. He's reached the threshold 13 times this season and is the highest scoring Bournemouth midfielder in FPL this season so far. His expected goal involvement is 0.2, so nothing amazing, but he did score that goal against Arsenal, and whenever I watch Bournemouth play, he's a really good attacking player for Bournemouth, playing a big part in their attack. A lot of people are going to go with Tavernier, but if you want a differential, I believe Scott is only owned by 2% of managers. Alright, let's quickly look at Game Week 33 transfers out, and no real surprises here. You've got Timber and Chalobah who are out injured. Timber didn't get on the bench for Arsenal last game week. We don't know if he's going to be fit for Game Week 33, so he's an easy sell on that doubt, especially with double game week players taking preference for most managers. Then you got Ekitike, transferred out by over 240,000 managers. Really disappointing Ekitike. There was one point where I thought he was going to be probably one of the best forwards in FPL this season, but he's failed to deliver in so many games. He has mega hauls and then he blanks in multiple games, and he's just very frustrating. Slot always seems to rest him. So for me, yeah, he's definitely a sell. And Burma got benched. He's in my team at the moment, but because I'm free hitting, I can't do anything about him. If I didn't have the free hit, I would definitely be moving him on. So I can see why 86,000 managers have moved him on. Thiago is a little bit of a strange one for me. I guess people are moving Thiago on to João Pedro, to Dominic Calvert-Lewin because of the double game week. But he does have Fulham at home, and it is a very decent fixture. He played Everton last week, he's got 2 goals, so he could easily do the same this week. But I mean, when you've got players who have 2 fixtures in one game week, you do have to go for those players, so it's understandable. All right, so now we're going to look at the clean sheets for game week 33. And at the top of the list, you can see that Leeds have a 43% chance of keeping the clean sheet. They face Wolves at home, so it's easy to see why they are top of the list, probably one of the best fixtures this game week. Forest, they're away to Burnley, so again, 41% chance you can see why they are being selected, but I would be very surprised if any managers have any Forest defenders, given the fact that there are teams who are playing 2 fixtures this game week. The most important one for managers right now is City. They got a 36% chance of keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal, and they've got a 44% chance of keeping a clean sheet against Burnley away on Wednesday evening next week. Chelsea have got a 23% chance of keeping a clean sheet at home to Man United, which is very surprising given it's Chelsea, but they are very poor at the moment. They're struggling to keep clean sheets, so maybe it isn't surprising. I mean, Chelsea are one of the biggest teams in the league, and look at that 23% chance of keeping a clean sheet at home. They then go to Brighton on Tuesday evening, and that doesn't look much better. They have a 21% chance of keeping a clean sheet there. All right, finally, we're going to look at the captaincy picks for game week 33, and I don't see anybody outside of Haaland that you can pick. Haaland is expected to score 15.4 points for this game week. Of course, he's got Arsenal at home first, and then he plays Burnley away, where you expect him to get most of his points, but he could always score against Arsenal. He did it at the Emirates earlier on this season, so at home there was always a chance he could get a goal. Then we've got Palmer. He's expected to get 11 points over the 2 games that he plays this game week, but he's not in the best of form, and neither are Chelsea, so I would avoid that. Then if you wanted to be a little bit of a differential, you've got Semenyo there. He's obviously got the same fixtures as Haaland, does have that Burnley away fixture. Maybe you could get some extra points given the fact that he's a midfielder, so he of course gets an extra point for scoring goals. So there you could get that differential, but he is owned by 56.5% of managers. However, how many of those managers are going to captain him over Haaland? And that's it for Fantasy Focus for Game Week 33. Short and sweet, goal threats, clean sheets and captaincies all covered. If this helped, drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe for next week's breakdown, and team selection will be uploaded before the deadline. If you missed transfer targets for Game Week 33, that should be popping up now. Let me know how your team's shaping up in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're planning. Good luck this week, green arrows, and enjoy the football.